So, welcome to the light book review session. And today it's about the second book by James Collins. So, the first one I did it last week and it was good to great. But today it's all about build to last. So, build to last it's about the successful habits that visionary companies have. So, the way Jim Collins describes a visionary company is that it is a premier institution. It is widely admired in the industry and outside of the industry. It has an indisputable imprint on the world. It has multiple generations of CEOs. So CEOs is chief executive officers. And finally, the last characteristic is that the company has a 50 plus year track record. So those are the characteristics of a visionary company. So for me, this book is special because of five things. So the first one is that the book talks about this idea that it is not about having a great idea, not about having a great business idea, but it is about building a great company. So the focus is not on the idea that you want to build a business upon, but it is about the business itself, the company itself. About now building the company, not just executing your idea. The second thing is that it brings this yin yang concept into entrepreneurship. So yin yang is mostly used in the spiritual world. So it is mostly about that there's one side which signifies darkness or the part that you don't like being known about. And on the other hand, there's the bright side that would like anyone to know about. So the way implement it into entrepreneurship is that he recommends that instead of embracing the tyranny of the hour. So tyranny of the hour is when now you have to make decisions in terms of either you take this or you take this. You choose this one or you choose that one. So it recommends that instead of doing that, you should embrace the guinness of the hand. So this one is about saying there's this thing and there's this thing, but how can we bring them together? How can we blend them together so that we can find something that doesn't end up we don't end up choosing one thing over another, and now it end up affecting the company. So that is the guinness of the hand. It is about finding a way of bringing things together instead of having to choose between one and the other. The other thing that about what the other thing about this book, and the other thing that I consider the one of the most important ones is that this book is based on research, just like Good to Great. Now the research was that he went and conducted the research, and now there are two types of companies. So on one side there was the visionary companies, and then on the other there were the comparison companies, which never reached the level of being visionary companies. So it gives you the data and the statistics that he collected through his research, and now the principles that uses to recommend that visionary companies be based on are mostly based on that data and the research that was collected using that research. So that is the that thing. The first thing is that the way the book is written is that it does not tell you what about the principles or the concept that it's being put to you. Instead, it shows you through diagrams and through other images. It shows you that this is what we are talking about. And now, what happens with this is that when you are shown now, you cannot argue with it because now it is proof that now you cannot deny. But now, when someone just tells you something, you can kind of just ignore it or ignore it if it doesn't align with what you believe, or you can just dismiss it because now it's not based on something real. But now when you show what you are talking about, when you demonstrate what you are talking about, now very difficult for someone to say no. So that is the third thing about the book, that it shows instead of telling. The fifth and the final thing that I find very special in this book is that this book goes beyond the business world. So it doesn't just talk about building a great company, building a great team, building a great culture. It goes beyond that, and now it goes beyond that in such in a way that all the principles that have been used to in the build to last books, they can be applied into all other aspects of life. So like in terms of professional life, in terms of relationship, in terms of spirituality, in terms of how we interact with the world around us. So these principles go beyond that. For example, there's these principles that about swimming against the tide. So the idea is that do not just follow what other people are doing, but find your own path and now follow your own path and now don't worry about the other stuff. So that is one of the principles that I'm talking about now. Like that principle, you can apply it outside of the business world. You can, yes, you can apply it in your company, but also you can apply it in your personal life, even in your professional life. That you don't follow what other people are doing, but you find your own path and then you just follow your path without worrying about anything else. So that's all for today, and I'll see you in the next session. So bye bye.